Welcome to Testimony Mountain. I am so glad that you're here today. And I just want to continue sharing a little bit more about the intensive that I had recently and some revelations that came that were very surprising to me. And I hope that it will be insightful and helpful for you. What I'm going to share today, I believe, has to do with some current cult activity that is planned for this late summer, fall time period, and encourage you to join in prayer with me for the overcoming power of the love of God for us individually as well as for us corporately, and to be able to see the triumph of God's love and what I believe ultimately will be a mass exodus from the cult system. And believing in the triumph of God's love and a mass exodus from the cult system is what keeps me going. There's times when the memories are overwhelming with the things that were done to me and also the things that I did in the system. And it's too much, too complicated. And sometimes I don't want to continue on this journey. However, when I see God's plan of triumph, it gives me hope and it gives me courage. And I hope this blesses and encourages you as well. If you will remember a few weeks or months ago, I shared about Revelation, the book of Revelation in 1 through 5 that we're currently processing through as a community in our community connection on Saturday mornings, which anyone is welcome. So if you are interested in that, please go to our website, transformations.community, and you'll see the details there. Sign up for our newsletter so that you can keep in touch with what's going on. And so the Lord had just laid it on our heart this summer to be processing Revelations 1 through 5, chapter 1 through 5. And for many people, and especially survivors, the book of Revelation is terrifying. There's so many different teachings about the book of Revelation and end times that it can be very, very confusing. And so for many people, not just survivors, we don't really focus on the book of Revelation. And yet, when we really understand what it is, it's the revelation of true Jesus Christ and his plans and purposes for us. And I'd been feeling that those first 5 chapters were especially key for survivors at this time. And some things that we discovered at the intensive confirmed that and revealed some of the cult's plans that are connected to those chapters. And so, again, I could be wrong in what I'm seeing, sensing, or feeling. I'm not here to predict things. All I can do is share to the best of my understanding what I believe the cult may be up to and God's plans and purposes to overcome, and invite you into praying into this in the next couple of months. And so in the session, we were dealing with a particular presentation that was new to me. She was very distressed about a shipment of human cargo, and it felt like it was current. And my understanding was that it was from Vietnam and that it included, from infants to young adults, and that it was headed to a particular location for a particular ritual. And so, of course, at that point, we stopped and we prayed and, engaged, asking the Lord for mercy as well as for rescue or intervention. Again, we were just praying. Our heart is always for rescue and intervention. But another presentation part of me became very, very upset and agitated. And so we began to see why. She began to share about a cult ritual that is coming up, a major, massive one. And my understanding is that they are getting ready to reenact Revelation 4 and 5. As I was saying in my last episode, is especially the Jesuits, but a lot of the cult system, and of course, the enemy wants to distort everything that the Lord holds dear, which includes the scriptures, the feasts of the Lord, and many other things. And so my current understanding, and again, I could be wrong on this, is that they have been working through the book of Revelation backwards, and they are currently at Revelation 4 and 5. And this assembly and this human cargo coming from Vietnam, the reason why it's important for it to arrive is for this ritual and this reenactment of Revelation 4 and 5 is this heavenly, and of course, in their twistedness, this is a very, twisted version of that, worship of Satan from every tribe, tongue, and nation. And that's why they're gathering all the children of the world is the words that came. And reenacting this throne room scene where Satan appears and he is worshiped. And then the scene in Revelation 5 where there is a scroll that no one can open and there's much crying. And so I believe there'll be much torture that will happen for all of those assembled to cry because they're not naturally going to do that, unfortunately. And then Satan intends to break open this seal. And I believe their intention is something that would be very destructive. And what I felt like the Lord said is that it will backfire and that this will be the beginning of that mass exodus from the cult system. Again, I could be wrong. This is just my sense at the moment. And again, the reason I'm risking sharing it here publicly is to invite as many of us as we can to be in prayer about this, that what the enemy intends for evil, the Lord would bring in good and the triumph of their love. And so I believe after this one, they're moving to the letters of, the 7 letters to the churches, which is another interesting little piece of the puzzle. While I was at the intensive, some of my team members who were part of Community Connection on Saturdays had this kind of sense or feeling that there was some connection to the 7 dwarves, to the 7 churches. They were looking at the particular one where the church that is sleepy, and the Lord is asking it to wake up and thinking about sleepy and the 7 dwarves. And so she looked it up on the internet, and there is a comparison there. Now, it came through AI, which I don't trust. And so we're still kind of looking at and processing if there is truly a correlation of that. If that is the case, then during this time period, as they're working through this reenactment of the book of Revelation, it would be very likely that any Snow White programming, Princess programming, 7 Doors programming would be activated in survivors. And so again, the reason I'm sharing this publicly as a possibility is for those of you who are survivors of mind control to be aware and prayerful about that possibility. Again, I could be wrong. With the Revelation 4 and 5 reenactment, I don't know for sure, but I believe it might be possible either that is meant to take place on September 7th, which is the Feast of the Beast, or during Tabernacles this year, which I believe starts around October 6th. And so just encouraging you to be prayerful about this time. And let's see what the Lord has in mind, because I know that He works all things together for good, and He has incredible plans. And I believe that survivors are God's secret weapon against the enemy. Because we know a lot of these things and a lot of the structures, we may not be fully conscious yet, and that is what I'm grateful the Lord has been bringing forward, is some technologies and things so that we can undo them and experience the triumph of God's love. And so the first book chapter of Revelation talks about the second coming of true Jesus. And again, I don't know for sure. I'm curious if that for them, the cult system, is when the appearing of the Antichrist would be. Again, we could be years off from this, or it could be a whole lot sooner. I know, at least from the cult side, they have been in preparation for this for a long time, planning and scheming. And some survivors have reported that they do have some possibilities in place. Again, the Lord can delay it if he chooses, because he is sovereign over all. But if it is time for these things to be exposed and for the triumph of their love, then we are living in incredibly exciting times. And so I hope that you hear what I'm sharing through that lens, that we could look at these things and be scared or terrified. And for survivors, parts of us may be triggering and reacting. We're not supposed to know this, not supposed to go there, all those kinds of things. And so I just want to speak the peace of the true Lord Jesus over you, that we do not need to walk in fear, but as the plans of the enemy are exposed, we get to walk in love, in confidence, and in the wisdom of God as they direct us how to pray and how to move through these seasons in victory. And so I just thank you for joining me in prayer over this. And I believe we'll have more in coming days to share on this. And so again, I just want to bless you today with the peace and presence of the true Lord Jesus, that nothing is impossible with him. And we get to experience the triumph of their love today and every day in fuller measure as we are working through this journey of freedom. And so if you have any questions, comments on this, if you've experienced something similar or have further revelation on this, please reach out to me at adena@transformations.community. I look forward to hearing from you. And I look forward to seeing you next time on Testimony Mountain.